Hi, here is Liprandi. We have recently reviewed Batman and Robin with their Batmobile, and today we are reviewing the Man of Steel himself, Superman, with his Supermobile, from the Superpowers collection made by Kenner in 1984. But first, please subscribe to our channel, you will find many other reviews of vintage toys. Well, this is Superman, king of all superheroes, developed by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, starting from 1933 and published for the first time on Action Comics #1 in 1938 by the former National Periodical Publications, later known as Detective Comics. Latest son of a distant planet called Krypton, Superman embodies the prototype of the Superman. Superman action figures have been around since the late 1930s, and after some very popular ones made by Mego in the 1970s, this is what Kenner came up with in the 1980s. He's a very classic looking action figure, 4.5 inches tall. We can move his head, we can move his arms forwards and backwards, move the legs forwards and backwards, and we can bend his knees, so the articulations are the same that we have already seen on Batman and Robin. Even though the style is the same as on Batman, his body is unique. There wasn't any recycling of molds in the old Kenner Superpowers line. He's wearing his signature red boots with this shape on the front, and of course red underpants. Superman's classic emblem can be seen on his chest and on his back, because they've printed it on his nice cloth cape, which, as it was usual for the old Kenner, is held in position by a plastic clip sewn around the neck. Like all the action figures in the old Kenner Superpowers collection, Superman also has got his own superpowers. Just squeeze his legs and he will punch the enemies. Superman, of course, was part of the very first assortment of the Kenner Superpowers collection, therefore he came with his own exclusive mini-comic by DC Comics. And this is his Supermobile. As silly as it might seem, the idea of having Superman driving around in a Supermobile, it actually came from the comic books, as well as many other terrible concepts. In fact, it was introduced by DC Comics in Action Comics issue number 481 in 1978. But DC Comics had to introduce it as a tie-in for a die-cast metal toy made by Corgi Toys. And as always, when marketing is leading the story instead of creators, well, creativity is killed. When radiations from the red sun leave Superman powerless, he reveals his latest invention, a special vehicle that he forged himself out of supermanium, a very strong metal that only his heat vision can bend. The Supermobile can channel the Man of Steel's superpowers, so basically it will still have all of the classic superpowers from Superman. Kenner made a very simple toy out of it. As you can see, it's much smaller than the Batmobile, so it was also a much cheaper toy, but it looks nice. It reminds me of the spaceship from the movie Flight of the Navigator. Compared to the Batmobile from the same toy line, the plastic this vehicle is made of feels a lot cheaper. But even though it's thinner, it is quite flexible, so this toy won't break easily. Made in blue plastic with red and silver plastic details, this vehicle came with a few stickers to decorate the interiors and to brand the vehicle itself. We can open the canopy, which is made in a translucent red plastic, so it will filter radiations from the red sun. This is a nice idea. Of course, our Superman action figure can be seated inside the cockpit, and since he is wearing a cloth cape, we won't have to remove it. We will now be able to fly around or show our superpowers off. In fact, this vehicle, of course, has got one. There is a button here on the back of the ship. It is made in silver plastic, and when we push it, we will see this grid on the front punching the enemies.
A small secondary feature can be found under the wings of the vehicle, where those two red flexible plastic circles work as straps for the hands of the criminals.
Recently, McFarlane Toys has refreshed the Superpowers brand, but without the word collection, and they've made a new version of the Supermobile, which, to be honest, as a toy is superior to the old one. And it's got the same design it had in the comic books, which is the one of the original toy made by Corgi. The fun part is that the two toy lines are compatible. And this is it. Superman is a very simple basic action figure, but it looks great. I like its classic design, and of course I also like the fact that he's got a gimmick. The old Superpowers collection was a beautiful toy line with bright colors, and this simple vehicle is a nice addition. Of course it doesn't make any sense, but you can still have a lot of fun playing with it. You can still find the Supermobile from Kenner in the secondary market without spending too much money, and luckily it wasn't too brittle as a toy, so you will find it still functioning and complete. As always, if you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We are reviewing our huge collection of vintage toys. Ciao!